Welcome back to the Deepblocks developer tutorial series. We just went in the previous video, we went through the 3D model, and now we're going to go through the assumptions of that 3D model so that we can have a better understanding of what we're able to do. So the first set of assumptions is what you're building. So we can build multifamily rental product, condominiums, hotel, office, retail. So let's do a multifamily office retail product just to understand better all our assumptions and the types of assumptions. So we have two different tabs here. On the left, we have the different uses and the assumptions for those uses. For example, let's put some parking requirements for office as well. And for each type of use, we get very specific very specific with the assumptions that go into a very preliminary back of the envelope, so or back of the napkin. So we have for example, multifamily, we have the types of units you want to build. So let's say micro units, studios. Let's say these names don't work for you and you wanted to do, let's say, 1 bedroom luxury. Once you change it here, you turn it on, of course, you have to, let's say we do 10 of those. You will see it here and you can adjust the size. So this is very flexible to the type of unit and number of units that you want. And whatever units get activated, let's say, let's put this back to 0. And now we have 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. You'll see the corresponding sliders for the size of those units, loss factor, which is your hallways and vertical and horizontal circulations, essentially, your amenity spaces, and the and this is more interior amenity spaces. And then you have the income for 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. Now, these values you have to plug in. None of the values we generate for you. We kind of throw a number out there, but this product does not have any data. This product is simply for you to adjust the numbers that you're familiar with in this market. So we have vacancy and operating expenses. And similarly, we have that for office and retail, where it's usable area, common area, office lease income. So let's put this a little bit higher. Expense reimbursements, depending on the type of lease that it is, vacancy and operating expenses. So for example, if it was a triple net lease, you would add the same assumptions of operating expenses into your expense reimbursements, and now you would have the customer or the tenant paying for everything. So you can do the same for retail. And as you can see, the last one that's a little bit different is condo and hotel. Condo, the difference between condo and multifamily is the sales price. Again, you have to put these in. So say I wanted to build selling them for 600,000, and your hotel assumptions. So in this hotel, you have your average daily rate, your other revenue, your occupancy, and so on, your net operating income. And so all of these assumptions are, as you adjust them, they go into this tabular assumptions that then goes into the back of the envelope. In this case, we have a very complicated project. So let me remove some of the uses so that we can make a very simple understanding. So here's your income, your vacancy, operating expenses, your net operating income, project costs, and return on costs. It's very simple back of the envelope. If we were to add, if we were to remove retail, it would automatically adjust to just multifamily. So these two panels are interconnected. So all of the assumptions that you make on the left panels, where you're making assumptions on the type of project and size of project, unit mix, and so on, all of that gets reflected in your return on cost so that you can very quickly understand if this is a feasible project or not. Your assumptions for costs are in your project cost tab under adjust assumptions. And here you have assumptions for the property purchase price. In this case, I'm going to add a 0. Maybe 18 million is more of a feasible price for this parking lot in the middle of downtown. You have existing building, if any. This was a parking lot, so it didn't include anything, but let's say there was. You can put there was 20,000 square feet or 200,000. Well, I wouldn't demolish 200,000, but let's say 20,000 square feet. You could do your assumption for demolition cost per foot. You have your hard cost. Let's say 124 is pretty low, 280 a foot. Soft cost 15%. Let's bring that down to 12. And some of these are, industry standards, basic vanilla numbers. But in all cases, you have to verify and you have to bring these numbers on your own. So now we have a 3.8 return on cost, and we can say, well, if I'm going to spend that much more on construction costs, I need to increase my rent. So my 1-bedroom is now going to be 2,700, and my 2-bedroom maybe 3,800. Maybe let's go 3,200. And now I have a 5% return. So the idea is, as you adjust your assumptions for all the different uses, you're able to automatically see those reflected in your back of the envelope. Let's turn all of these on again. So as you can see, when it's all kind of a cash flow producing assets, they're in an income producing back of the envelope. So all of these are broken down for you, and you see your totals and you see your return. You could also assume that you're going to sell the whole project and change this to for sale, which I'll go over with more detail in the back of the envelope tutorial. But once you have condominium on, since this is a for sale product, then everything becomes for sale. Even if you had hotel, office, and retail, this will be a for sale back of the envelope financial projections. So with that, that is the overview of all the different assumptions that you have available. Again, their assumptions are broken down by type of use and the cost of the project and the cost of construction cost. If it was to be a renovation project, then you would simply change these two renovation prices, and then you would see what it would be like to purchase the entire building. In this case, we purchased a empty lot, but any which way you can use this to model the feasibility of the investment. If you have any questions, of course, please feel free to get in touch with us via the chat, and we're happy to walk you through any questions that you might have on the project. And with that, that concludes our assumptions tutorial, and stay tuned for the back of the envelope tutorial.